Welcome back, everyone. This is our perspective drawing series, and we are in the midst of learning how to draw staircases in perspective. So in the previous videos, we've talked about how to draw staircases beneath the horizon line, on the horizon line, or straddling the horizon line. In this video, we are going to explore drawing the staircases strictly above the horizon line. So the base of the staircase will be above the horizon line, and then the rest of the staircase will climb upwards, and we're going to learn how to construct that. This is Stractify 500. This is my visual arts channel where I explore different drawing techniques with you guys and have you guys watch, and then I'm gonna take these various techniques and expand them into different projects in later videos. And this is our, like I said, this is our perspective drawing series that we have going on. And I'm really trying to be as extensive as possible with this series so that everybody that watches this can get as much out of this as possible and learn from this and use this as a resource for when they're working on their own personal projects. Okay, enough about that. Let us jump right in and get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I've already got our horizon line in place. Again, we're doing this in 2-point perspective, so I've got our 2 vanishing points ready to go. So I am going to go ahead and lay down our perpendicular line up here that we're going to use to build a cube or a box. Okay, so in this particular technique, you want to build a basic 2-point perspective cube. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to erase this. That's going to be the bottom edge of our cube right there. So I'm going to start right here, and then I'm going to get a ruler and lay down some equal markings or increments. And let's see, how big do I want these to be? So we'll start here. I want an even number of these things. Okay, so starting with that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And if I need to get rid of any, I'll just get rid of it if that becomes too many. All right, so in this video is going to be, I've got thin walls, so I've got loud neighbors, so you'll probably hear something here and there. But in this particular video, this will be part A, and with part A, I'm going to start with equidistant markings, equidistant measurements along this true height line. Okay? In part B, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with uneven markings, and as I mark, they're gonna get incrementally higher or larger and larger, and we'll see how that behaves. Okay, we'll see how that turns out. So for right now, equidistant markings along the true height line. This is the bottom, this is the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This will be the top right here. And then once I've got that in place, I'm gonna go ahead and start to build out our cube. So let me lay down the first outer wall of the cube or the box on this side, like so. And then the outer wall on this side, and connect the top to that vanishing point, and the bottom to that vanishing point. And looks like I made a boo-boo. Well, not really. Got ahead of myself there, so let me fix that. And this is a little inaccurate, so it's not hitting the vanishing point correctly. Right there, and right there. But still, you know what? You know what? It should be fine. I'm being extra nitpicky again, so let me stop that and let me make sure everything else is correct. That will not throw us off by a whole lot. Okay, so that's one side of the wall. Before I finish anything else, I want to go ahead and establish the length of our first step. And so I'm going to arbitrarily just pick this as the length of our first step, and then project a perpendicular line upwards. I will do that with a blue pen so that you can, as you guys are watching, you can differentiate what's what belongs where, and not be confused. So let me make sure, and I really want to make sure I make that perpendicular line as accurately vertical as possible. So from right there, let's project that up and just leave that there. The reason why I'm laying that down first is because I just want to get that in there. That's going to be a crucial part of our construction. And as I start to build up other construction lines, I don't want our lines getting confused. I don't want anything to be confused, so I want you guys to know exactly what's going on and what to expect right from the get-go. All right, so let's finish building out our cube. And as usual with our vanishing points, try to keep them as wide as possible. Try not to bring them in too close, and also try to I mean, I guess you could build this kind of small, but in this case, I'm just trying to go as high as possible with the height of my staircase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pick the end of my cube, the back wall of my cube right here. And I'm going to have to, let me put the ruler here, butt it up against this horizon line, close enough. For that, I can use the small triangle, no problem. I'll lightly place that vertical right there. So let me make sure that's in the screen for you guys to see. So we have that. That's the back wall. There we go. All right, and then as we continue, let's start to connect things and complete our cube. So we want to get that base. So connect that as we've done, or as you've seen me do many times before, to establish that base. Okay, so from this vanishing point to that corner, I keep missing. I'm getting careless here. Keep missing my points. I gotta hit them accurately. That will not make any crucial. And then let's see how this connects. Okay, that's connecting okay. Part of the reason why I mentioned that you want to keep the vanishing points a little far apart, and then of course you want to keep this kind of high, is because when it comes to building up this cube, you don't want this line that makes up the back wall to get too close to this bottom line here, okay? And it's usually better for you if you construct things in such a way that this line is further up, right? So if I wanted to do that, I'd probably have to move this back wall up this way a little bit. But I've got what I've got, so I'm just gonna work with what's there right now. It's not so close that it's gonna become a problem, so I'll just have to remember that this top line belongs to this corner, and then this bottom line belongs to this corner. So I'm gonna make this lighter, because it's in the back anyway, so let me just make it much lighter. And what I'll do is just put like an arrow, just something to indicate that this is the back wall. Just put like an arrow or something like that, just to differentiate these two real quick. Okay. All right, so I've established this wall. We've established the base halfway anyway. So let's establish this side. So what I'm gonna do is butt this up against the horizon line again. And that'll be the front wall, so of our cube. And then from here, I will connect to the vanishing point, or connect this vanishing point to that corner, like so. I'll do it lightly at first. And then find the intersection, sort of flattening a little bit, so I have to be very precise with how I'm thinking it should be right there. Right there. Okay, if I have to move it, I'll move it. What'll really tell me I'm accurate is when I establish whatever's going on here. Okay, so let me go ahead and again, from the same vanishing point, connect to that top corner. Should be right there. Straight to the vanishing point. Oh, it's gonna run up. Yeah, I really dislike when that happens. All right, since this was a mistake, well, not a mistake, it's gonna be there in there anyway, but since it's not part of the construction that I need at the moment right now, let me just get rid of it, because it is kind of getting in the way. I need to establish this cube first. All right, so that's what's happening there. And what I'll do is I will extend this, make sure it's connecting to my vanishing point, but I'll extend it just so far that it intersects this line. Make sure that line is in place. Make sure that that intersection is okay. So based on where this is falling, this is a more accurate intersection. It's telling me that my intersection is somewhere here. There's some things that are falling off a little bit, but I'm gonna work with what I've got and just encourage you guys to just be as accurate as possible with your construction. All right, so so that's not falling, it's falling here somewhere, this area. So I'm gonna take it from here to about right there. Okay, so that is my back wall. So it's the back inner wall on the back, on the side, the front. Okay, so basically I'm going to go ahead and darken the base, because that's going to be in place. I'm not going to cut into the base at all. So I'm just going to go ahead and darken that. Have that serve as a foundation to work off of. It'll help keep me grounded with the rest of the construction. Okay, so we know what that's all about. All right, so let's take a quick look at it. With that in place, we can go ahead with our construction, but you're going to need this side wall in the background along with your construction to help out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and since this wall is in place right here, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this wall that's sort of like this line that's sort of dangling out here, so that there's no confusion, because it is crossing like this. It's crossing through this point, and the line that I'm going to extend from here to this vanishing point, they're going to share the same line. So let me just get rid of, well, I don't necessarily have to get rid of it, but just understand that that's what's happening, and from now on we will be working with whatever line is associated with the marks, the measurements, basically. All right, so let's go ahead, and so from here to here, that goes there. This is already going over there. I need my long, let me just go ahead and get my long triangle. Lightly draw these in. Hopefully that it all shows up on camera. Well, it'll show up on camera. It'll be fine. I'm actually getting a little sloppy with my connections here. Make sure your lines and your points, your lines are connecting to your points accurately at all times. Because it is a pain to go back and fix things when you're in the midst of construction and all that kind of stuff, and you gotta, it slows the process down. So just try to be as accurate as possible. I'm getting a little sloppy here, so I'm trying to be more careful and trying not to slow down this video. All right, so just like we did before, we've got this line in place. We can see it very clearly. We've got this polygon in place right here, this diamond or whatever you want to call it. So again, connect the bottom corner to the top corner, extend it out, and that will give us this diagonal right here, okay? Now, when you get this diagonal, as soon as you've extended it and it hits the top, you make this intersection with the top. What you need to do is, from this top portion, connect this to your vanishing point. Excuse me. I'm not getting sick, it's allergy season where I'm at. All right, so go ahead and make that connection. Don't extend a line. I will extend, well, let me draw it in lightly so that you can see what's happening. So from the top all the way down to the vanishing point, but where it intersects right here, that's what we want. Okay, so we have that intersection. So this is the corresponding point on this wall, okay? What I'm gonna do now, take a good look at it, or come back and pause if you have to. I'm going to erase this line. I'm gonna get rid of it, because what I'm after here is just this point. So we're gonna get rid of that. You can leave it in there if you want to, but for the sake of clarity, to avoid any confusion, I'm going to get rid of it. So now that I've got this point, the same way this connects to that corner, I'm going to connect this to that corner. Okay? Get my little ruler, my little triangle, and I'm just going to put a light line there. Okay? And we are good to go. All right? So we're going to leave that in there. And I have a few videos coming up about inclines. I want you to just quickly pay attention to something. These two lines, you see these two lines going up? Let me butt the ruler up against that line right there, and also that line right there. Okay, so in 2-point perspective, you can see that the perspective foreshortening is influencing that incline. All right, and we're going to talk about inclines in the next few videos. But just take a quick look at that, see how they are converging towards each other. And when they converge, they're going to converge to their own vanishing point. Okay, or they're going to converge to a vanishing point that corresponds with this vanishing point right here. All right. But we'll talk about that's a story for another day, for another video, which is coming up soon. So you won't have to wait long for that. All right, let's continue. All right, so now that we've got all this stuff in place, let's see. Let me get rid of this too. Yeah, let me get rid of that. Let me get rid of that line. I do not need it anymore. I only need it to establish that edge or corner. So let me get rid of that gently. Can leave that in place. That diagonal. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that anymore. Don't need to worry about that anymore. Just leave that in place. We've got our cube. Okay, everything else we need is in place for us to complete our construction. Let's do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start plugging in the stairs. Well, first of all, right before I do that, just make note of where this diagonal line is intersecting with each of these radiating lines. Okay, I'm going to mark it for the purpose of the viewer. You don't have to. The more you do this, the more you'll just intuitively know where these points are in the construction. And that's sort of what we're going for. Real quick, just a little side note. I'm going to start by starting the staircase right from here, right from the edge here, the front end here. What will happen is that it'll end up with like the vertical going up here and here. If you have a preference, if you prefer that you want it to end here, you can just start dropping your verticals from right here and go down, and then build your step and go down like that, and so on and so forth. I prefer to just do it here. You get a little extra at the end, which is fine. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and establish the verticals first, and then I'm gonna complete the rest of the staircase. Or rather, the rest of this side of the staircase. And then we'll deal with the other side. So, got that. Got that. That. So as I'm doing this, when you practice, you can try dropping the vertical the other way. I'm pulling the vertical up. You can try dropping the vertical down or pulling it down, and see which construction you prefer. side because we're pretty much complete with this side. Okay, now let me go ahead and let me make sure I'm on camera. All right. If you want to be extra cautious and extra accurate, you can do what you've seen me do in other videos and just make sure you just take your long, as you're darkening these, you just make sure you use your long ruler and connect it to the vanishing point to make sure you're hitting it correctly every time. What I'm doing, or you can do what I'm doing right now, is just you've got the construction lines in place, so you just line the ruler up with the lines, and you can be just as accurate. Either way is fine. As long as you're paying attention to what you're doing and you're not being sloppy or messy or careless. Okay, so, all right, so we have that side of the staircase in place. Now we have to go ahead and deal with the other side, okay? So, yeah, I've already gone over what's going to happen when you have your staircases above the horizon line, right? And the last few videos, or in the last video, we basically did the staircase straddling the horizon line. So we had some of it below and then some of it above, and then I was able to show you exactly what to do to, counter the problem that comes up where you don't see the top of the steps, and you have to figure out where the vertical is going to land, okay? So when you're dealing exclusively with the staircase above the horizon line, then you don't have the benefit of the construction below the horizon line to help you out above the horizon line. You don't have that benefit, okay? And it's a bit of a hassle to build a staircase on above and below, and then use the steps below to help you establish the steps above, and then erase the step below and just fix everything. That's a bit tedious. If you want to do that, you can try doing that. I mean, that is a way of doing it, I guess. But sometimes you're going to just be stuck with the staircase above, and you're just going to have to deal with that. So we're going to get back into solving that problem, where you can't figure out where to put the vertical, okay? That's where this comes in. We already have this in place. Some of it's disappearing, so I'm going to make sure you don't miss it. All right, so what we're going to do is we are going to, from the tops of these vertices, project lines to the vanishing point on your left. Get some of this stuff out the way. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's see what happens. Okay, some of those lines are getting awfully close to each other, which I'm not crazy about, but it is what it is, as they say. Okay, So this is already in place. Did I do that correctly? Sorry guys. I want to make sure that's in place because I'm being a little nitpicky, but I sort of have to be. Okay. It's fine. Okay, so we've got this. So I'm going to darken that. I'm just going to go ahead and darken that first step. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is I'm going to project from this corner to this vanishing point. Hold on. Make sure. Okay. So what I can do is actually nix what I'll come back to that if I need to. So we can just so I can just go from this edge, project downwards, and where hold on a second, let me keep myself from making a mistake here. Just need to double check real quick. Okay, so this line is associated with the bottom corner of the step, which is this right here, okay? So what I need to do is take this back corner over to the vanishing point, like so, and then where it makes this connection right here is where I need to, excuse me, it's where I need to extend my vertical line upwards, my perpendicular line up. So I'm going to just slightly draw it. Should connect right there. That connects there, like so, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and darken it. Like that. So with that in place, I can go to this corner, take that to the vanishing point, which falls somewhere there, and that'll give me that I think that point right there, and then I'm going to extend this vertical line up to that point right there. Yeah, the steps are getting too close to each other. Too close for comfort, too close. Too close for my liking. But hey, it is Okay, so I've got those three in that way, in that manner. So what I can do now is connect the tops of those. Let's see, let me use an orange or green pen this time. So green pen, let me let you see. So these tops, I've got 3 of them now. Make sure they connect. Okay, and then after that, all I have to do is go to each of these, follow it down. Okay, that's that. So go to this one, follow that down all the way, and then where that connects, which is right there. Try not to get them confused with each other. I'm going to just hand draw. I'm going to just drop the vertical by hand, like that. Let me go ahead and darken that. There we go. All the way. They're so tight. Let me make sure you guys, you know what? Let me zoom in. So you guys can see what I'm doing. I will try not to move the paper a whole lot. Try not to get my hand in the way. So that coincides with there. I'm just going to drop that by hand. I should have left the ruler right there, just drawn. There we go. All right. Oh, completely missed that. See, I'm messing up already. Go on up from that point. What is going on? Yes, I did. Actually, I overshot. Yeah. What did I just do? Okay. All right, let me go ahead and at that point. Okay, and then everything's blending together. All right, we're just about done. It seems like this top step is darken it some more. Somewhere there. Okay, so there is our staircase. Let me darken the base a little bit. that be enough. That should do it. All right, there we have it. Zoom out. All right, there is our staircase above the horizon line. All right. So I will see you in part B of this video, where I will do uneven steps, uneven steps for the staircase, and we'll see how that turns out. See what we get out of that. All right. So this is Stractify 500. I will see you in the next video. Leave your comments down below, hit the like button, subscribe, and tell more people about this channel. I've got more stuff coming up. All right, take care, bye.